Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. We do realise it's not easy, obviously, coming to some of these things, and we are recording today, so that will be going out on YouTube later for those that unfortunately can't join us. But today is the first time we are having our first event of the year online to talk about the Enterprise Vision Awards of 2026. So as you can see, this welcome picture is the winners from 2025 celebrating at the award ceremony after the award announcements. So picture yourself in this group for this year, and we're going to tell you what you can do to edge your bets to get there. So this is me. I started the awards back in 2011. I absolutely love working with women in business. I find your stories fascinating, which is why it keeps me so engaged, because every year we get to meet and hear some amazing stories, which just, to me, it's just so inspiring. So thank you. I'm really looking forward to connecting and hearing your stories as well. If you want to use the QR code, you can scan the QR code and get my contact details there. And obviously I have the EVAS, and I also have Pink Link, which is a community for women in business that's been going for 17 years this year. So yeah, I don't know quite where the time has gone, but I have connected with thousands of ladies over the years, and we have quite an extensive network. We do events all over the place, and we'll tell you a little bit more about those later. Liz is with me today, who looks after our PR and marketing. So anything to do with the website or the social media and all of that type of stuff, Lizzie is your girl. And you'll obviously, if you enter and you go through the process, you'll be connecting with Lizzie, myself, and also the rest of the team. Our winners from last year, from the ceremony. So very important date for your calendar now. If you'd like to pop in a note of Friday the 2nd of October, and that is the date for the awards ceremony that will be held at the prestigious Empress Ballrooms in the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. So that's the first key date you need to know about. So I'm now going to hand over to Donna O'Toole. If you would like to scan again the QR code here, or give you Donna's contact information. So after this, if you do sort of think, oh, I should have asked that question, or you want to connect with Donna because you think it might be of interest to you, then you've got her details. So I'm going to hand over to Donna O'Toole from August Awards and Recognition. She's going to explain how she works with us and works with the ladies so you can get the most out of this process.
Lovely. Thank you, Carol. Thank you.
There you go.
Hi, everyone. Right, well, let me share my screen, and I've got a presentation. So what I'm going to do today as well. So who here, just before we get started, just put your hand up if you've won an award before. Has anyone here already won an award? Nikki, yes. Rachel, Celia, Emma. Okay, great. So we've got some award winners in the house. Amanda, hi. Brilliant. Okay, well, you guys obviously have had a little bit of expertise on this yourselves, so you know what you're doing. For those of you who've not entered an award before, or maybe you've entered and got to the final and not won yet, hopefully some of the tips in here will help you today. So quick intro to who I am, what I do. So my name's Donna O'Toole. I founded a business called August Recognition over 10 years. It's 10 years this year, actually. It's our 10-year anniversary. I've been in the awards industry for longer than that. And we support individuals and businesses to find, enter and win awards. So we work with everyone from the smallest solo entrepreneur right through to literally the biggest corporates in the world and everyone in between. In 2021, I became part of the Dent Global Group, and that's run by Daniel Priestley, who I'm sure if you listen to any of the Drive to CEO podcasts, you would have heard Dan talking a lot on there. He's your go-to for all the entrepreneurial news and what you should be doing next. So I also support the Dent Key Person of Influence program as a profile coach and support people to raise their profile that way. So we're really proud of our impact in the awards industry. We're really passionate about making sure that you have a good experience and that the awards industry also provides great awards platforms, rather like the EVAS, and that you have a really good experience all round. So we've got some great results, and I'm hoping that will help you today as well. So first of all, an easy question. I'm just going to move this silly little annotate thing that gets in my way. Right, answers in the chat. Who deserves to be recognised most? Men or women? What do you think? Who is or maybe you want to go from the angle of who's most likely to be recognised. That might be an interesting one. What do you think about that? Let me have a look in the chat what the consensus is. Oh, Nicola, you run Don't Panic events. Well, there we go.
Yeah, I knew your name. Yes, it's a small world, isn't it?
It is a small world. Okay, gender is irrelevant. Lovely, Lorraine. Of course, women obviously deserve to win, but more men apply. I think historically men have won more, but that's been ego-based. Hilarious. I think maybe both. Okay, men usually get recognised more. Well, there is some actual statistics on this, okay, and I am pleased to say that the industries that provide awards are working on this more, let's say. But this is just some data. This is from the Oscars. Hang on, go back again. From the Oscars, and it just shows you the amount of male to female nominees. So it's not even like we tend to find out about the winners, but actually even the nominees tend to be many, many more men. So it's really lovely to have awards that are designated to celebrate and recognise women in business who are, I'm not saying men don't deserve to win awards too, I'm sure they absolutely do, but we have different challenges. We've often built things out of nothing, the ground up, and created really some phenomenal businesses. And I have to say, last year was the first year that we partnered with the EVAS, and we had the pleasure of coming to the event in Blackpool. And I think I cried the whole way through. So it was so emotional and so wonderful to see so many women who had just, come up against some incredible adversity, and those who'd really fueled their growth and all sorts of things, real passion there. So I 100% encourage you to get involved and get to that event, because it is a game changer. And I know it's made a big impact on a lot of people's lives. So let's get these pink numbers up. And get some more awards out there for women, because we know that you can achieve anything if you're given the right recognition, and we really want to help you to achieve that. So today I'm going to talk to you about, first of all, why to win. So why is it going to be important for your business moving forward, how to win, and what to win. Okay, so hopefully those tips will all help you. So why to win? Let's get started. So hands up, who won awards as a child? Anyone think of any awards? Write in the chat, what did you win? Did you win an award for swimming, sport, dancing, maths, science? I've had all sorts when I've asked this question. I've had some very interesting ones as well. What kind of things did you win awards for as a child? Lizzie, ballroom dancing. Is that where the Blackpool Ballroom comes from? Swimming, cross country and art. Take heart for drawing, showing. Oh, I used to love that. I used to love that. Oh, what a throwback. Swimming, judo, horse riding, music, blue pleater. Oh, legendary. My daughter's got one of those badges. I never made it. I was too naughty, I think. My school only rewarded sport. That's an interesting one. Okay, so you can see here, Amanda, award for bravery. That's incredible, Amanda. I'd love to hear your story. You can see there's a real variation here of the kind of things that we were recognized for as young people. And the thing is that when you're young, you're not cynical about recognition, and you're not worried about recognition, and you're not worried about standing out, and you're not worried about being humble and hiding. But somehow, weirdly, as we get older, we all feel differently. So if you think about how you won as a child, you might recognize some of these words: proud, energized, motivated to go on and do more of that as well. If you win one swimming badge, then you think, well, I could go on and maybe go up to the next level and win more. Well, it's like that in business as well. These are my awards. I was a cheerleader. I'm still proud of these today. My 2 adult daughters are mortified when I get them out at the thought. But, you know, I think it's so important that we bring back that feeling of how we felt when we were young. We stop worrying about standing out and who we're competing against and whether we've got enough to win or whether we haven't. And actually, we really just feel motivated to move forwards and be proud of what we've achieved and allow this to help keep shifting us forward, okay? Because we know that award winners really benefit and their businesses really benefit and their businesses outperform the competition, okay? So lots of different research has been done all over the world. We do our own research as well as looking at external research. So we know that there's been, on average, there's a 63% increase in revenue for businesses following an award win. Now, that's not because you win an award and the next day your turnover goes up. It doesn't work like that. But it's because you're doing all the right things in your business to keep pushing it forward and keep building and growing. And then the PR, the promotion, and all of the continued benchmarking and activity you do after winning helps you to grow your revenue. There was a really interesting piece of research done that investigated businesses 5 years after winning awards as well. And that showed that even then, they had 77% higher sales even 5 years after winning. And again, that's because these are the businesses that have the drive to keep themselves at the top of the leaderboard in their industry and keep that motivation moving forward. So awards have longevity. Once you've won it, it's not getting taken away from you. You can continue to use that to drive you forward. And if you've got a team or you're thinking of having a team, recognition can be super important for their employee motivation as well. And this piece of research actually showed that they tested whether employees felt more motivated by a company-wide pay rise or by personal recognition. And they were more motivated by the recognition than they were by the pay rise. Now, that's not to say we don't want the extra money. Of course, everybody does. But it doesn't really feel like you've done something special when you get it like that. But if you're actually individually recognised, that can go a long way. And it's a great way for employers to retain and to recruit and reward their teams as well. And we know as well that the impact of awards is real. Okay, so I want you to imagine Friday night, you pop down to the shop to get a bottle of wine and you're trying to choose which one to pick off the shelf. Well, the ones that have got the awards on them are far more likely to sell, and data shows that. But this test was really good. This actually, they took 2 bottles of wine. One had awards on it and one didn't have awards on it. They poured the same wine into the 2 bottles and then got the public to taste test that wine to see which one they preferred. Now, they actually chose the bottle with awards on it, but the wine was the same. So it just goes to show the psychology even of presenting yourself as a business or a product or having a service with an award already makes people think you're better quality, you're worth more money, you're worth purchasing. So if you think about your websites, your personal profiles on LinkedIn and Instagram and all of those kind of things, if you can showcase yourself as an award winner with those badges, with all the right labels, then that's going to appeal to people immediately. Okay, so perceptions are very real when it comes to PR and marketing, and awards can really help you with that. So we know that awards will help you win in business in lots of ways. Remember, this is the why you want to enter. They can help you to increase your prices and increase your sales. So ramp up your sales. There's a lot of research to show that awards help to pull the buying trigger. In fact, I think it's 85% of consumers now want to see both awards and reviews on your website to give them the reassurance they need to buy. Awards can help you make a bigger social impact. So sometimes we think, oh goodness, I don't really want the spotlight on me. I don't know if I, deserve it, etc., etc., etc. But actually, it's not about the spotlight shining on you. It's about giving you the spotlight to shine on something you believe in. And so that can help you create a much bigger social impact through the recognition. Awards can help you accelerate your brand awareness. I mean, especially nowadays, getting found in your SEO, you're getting found in ChatGPT and AI, the more you can put out there into the world about what your business is achieving, the more it will cement the reputation that you want to have when people find you. As I mentioned before, awards will help you attract and reward and retain great employees as well. People are savvy nowadays. They want to work for businesses that they know have a great culture, and awards will demonstrate that. So if you do have a team or thinking of growing your team, then it's worth thinking about that. Boosting investment and finance opportunities is a very tangible way that awards can help you. You'll see that lots of awards have associations and links with finance organisations who are directly looking for businesses to support. Investors know that awards, you will have had to go through a certain process to get an award, so they're really interested as well. And finally, increasing your exit value. You might be here not thinking about exiting, but actually at some point, hopefully you will do, and awards can really support you with that as well. So there's lots of really good reasons to win. And I'll just leave you with this one on your why. I really like this. This is Stephen Bartlett's talked about how in order to fulfill your personal potential, you need to fill these buckets. There's 5 buckets, and in order from 1 to 5, your knowledge and your skills, you're responsible for those. Okay, so whatever it is that you do, and all of you do different things, you're responsible for what you know and what you do. Okay, but awards can really support you with the next 3, which is your network. That's who you know. Like today, you know, you're already getting involved in this brilliant network from the awards program. Your resources, so what you have actually, once you're an award-winning business, as I say, increase your sales, increase your revenue. That will help you with increasing your resources, and your reputation, actually cementing what the world thinks of you out there. So if you want to fulfill your potential, think about how full are each of these buckets, and how could awards help me fill these 3, because I can work on those, but I need some more support to help with the others. Okay, so I think that can be something that's really beneficial for you. And awards, in helping you fulfill your potential, will therefore help you fulfill your goals. And I like to say to people, you know, if you have a goal, what is it? What would you like to change if you could change something in the world? What could your business go on, or your purpose go on to help people change? What do you want to be known for as well? You know, what's your goal for around what you want to be known for, and how can the categories that you choose, we'll show you the categories later, help you fulfill that? And really, what do you want to achieve? So what's your plan for this year? What's your plan for 3 years or 5 years' time? How can the awards that you pick now help you work towards that plan? Okay, so hopefully that's given you a little bit of a few ideas of why you should get involved and what difference it could make for you. So the next is how to win. Okay, so I always start winning by looking backwards. Okay, most awards are looking for, and certainly the EVAs are looking for, what you've achieved already. We can't recognize you for what you haven't achieved yet. Okay, so often people say, oh, well, I'm going to do this next year and this might happen. Well, that's great, and it might even get you to the finals if it's exciting enough, but you're unlikely to win if you haven't achieved it yet, because we haven't got any evidence of that happening. Okay, so we need to look backwards for a year and tell us your story. So we want to know the context of that. Your business might have been going for 10 years, however long it's been going, but then think about into the now. What's happened over the last year that's been really exciting? Have you grown? Have you got a great customer? Have you got a client case study that you can talk about? Have you launched a new product? What's happened? Maybe just make some notes on what's been my good things from the last year. And then I want you to think about what you want to achieve. So thinking forwards, right? And what can help me? If I was to win an award, in which kind of category, how would that help me? Okay. And that helps you to align the race that you're going to get into. And I always say, one of the key reasons you'll win is because you put yourself in the right race. And yet, while I'm judging awards, and I judge a huge amount of awards, I so often see people in the wrong race, and I think, oh, you could have won if you'd have just gone into this different category. So I bring up these familiar faces to help you to remember this. Okay, so we've got Usain Bolt and Mo Farah here, who I'm sure you'll recognize both as fantastic runners. Okay, so if they were going to enter a competition called the Best Runner in the World competition, just pop in the chat, who do you think would win that award? Would it be Mo or would it be Usain? Who's going to win the Best Runner in the World competition? Who do you think's got the most chance of winning? Pop a name in the chat and we'll see who's most popular. What do you think? Exactly. Hard one because they've achieved differently. So the thing with Mo and Usain is, Mo is a marathon runner and Usain is a sprinter. Now, you don't see them in the same competition, and the reason is they know their strengths. don't go in these competitions to come third. They go in them to win. Okay. And because of that, they're very targeted, they're very focused, and they stick to their strength. In business, it's harder to do that sometimes. And we think, oh, well, I'm good at this, and I'm good at this, and I'm good at this, and I'll throw myself in all these different awards all over the place. But actually, it's really good to identify what your USP is and what your strength is, because that will help you to identify the right category to stand out. And I always think as well, don't think that you won't get anywhere. The lionesses, I'm sure you've all followed, they didn't win the first thing they ever went into. You have to work at it. You've got to try. Sometimes you've got to learn about the competition, and you've got to have a few years of having a go, seeing what the other competitors are like, seeing what the other evidence is. And sometimes you might be pipped to the post. Very often, I'm sure Coral and Lizzie will agree, when you actually, and Nicola, in your competitions, I'm sure when you see the outcome, the points that are scored from the judges, there's very often very little in it between who's winning and who's not winning. It could have been anyone's, really, depending on the evidence that they've given. So even if you've entered before and you haven't quite won, you could have been in, very, very close. So don't give up if you haven't won. Okay, and the other thing that I think is really important is to create your awards USP. This will also help you in targeting the right categories. So this is, if you see this Venn diagram, this is actually inspired by Aristotle's modes of persuasion, which is a philosophy. I'm a linguist, so I love reading about all these different linguistic philosophies. And this is around winning an argument. So if anyone's got an argument they need to have, this is your methodology. Okay, so you start with the logic. Okay, so what is the logical impact of what it is that you do? Okay, so, what does your business do? Who does it do it for? Why does it do it for them? There should be some logical reason for that to be happening. And next, we've got the value side of things. That's the pathos, or the emotion. And the thing with this is what really engages the judges. This is your stories. This is your human impact. This is your case studies and your testimonials. And this helps us to get a feeling about you as a business. And as we know, feelings drive behavior. So if you're going to give me the logical story, and you're going to give me a real feeling around your business and connect to your stories, then the next thing you need to do is just bring me evidence. Okay, so evidence on logic and on logical side of things is quantitative. So that's data. That could be how much you've grown. That could be cost savings if you've changed something. That could be numbers of products sold, all the data. And then on the values and emotion side of things, that's qualitative evidence. So that's case studies, stories, testimonials. And if you can bring a balance of both of those together, then you're going to be much more likely to get to this sweet spot of winning than if you leave one of them out, okay, or more. Now, if you entered last year and you didn't win, or you've entered any competitions and not won, I encourage you to go and have a look back at those entries now and question, did you include all of these? Because sometimes you'll be, I realise now I didn't have the data. I had lovely stories, but I didn't have the data. Or I had all the data, but I didn't really tell the story. So putting these all together really can be the magic for you on the difference between entering and not winning, or winning. As I mentioned, evidence, I think it's important to show you how that looks and feels. So using evidence to back up your claims is so important for the judges, because otherwise we might be looking at 5 different entries saying, well, this one's lovely, but it's got no evidence. This one does have evidence, so they're going to score more points. Okay, so you can see in just a few lines how you can make a difference. So the first one says, our business is the best in the industry. We have created incredible results from our innovative initiatives, and our newest product has flown off the shelves. That's lovely, but it doesn't tell me anything. I certainly can't judge that. Whereas the other one says, our business now services 58% of the market, making us the industry leader. We've grown by 18% year on year, with new product sales creating 10% of our revenue in the last 12 months, Joe Blogg says. So that would be a paragraph that includes both quantitative and qualitative evidence, okay? And I would be able to score that. So think about what you're putting forward to the judges and how easy you're making it for them to give you the points that you need to win. I always say as well that quality counts. Nowadays there's enough tools online to support you to spell check and things like that. Even Shakespeare had a proofreader, so don't be too proud to ask anyone for help if you need it. And I would say never submit your first written draft. To me, that's just your notes. That's what's coming out of your head of your story. You need to work on it. The strength comes in the editing. Let it breathe, get it all out of your head. Don't worry about how long it is, just get it all down. and then let it breathe. Walk away from it for a few days, give yourself a rest, and then come back to it. If you don't know if it's flowing, read it aloud. You can ask a friend to do the same back to you. Now, I should say AI, let's bring AI into this now. I have judged so many awards over the last year that have been despicable ChatGPT bland nonsense, and they just don't score any points. Okay, so be really careful if you're going to use AI. There was actually one award, I won't say what one it was, true story, and one of the categories, it was businesses from the similar industry that we're going into, and one of the categories, 3 of the awards had the same paragraphs in their entries, so we had to disqualify those because you didn't know what was true and what wasn't true. Okay, so just please be very careful. We are developing a tool, Daniel and I are hoping to launch that later in the spring, called Awards App, and that's going to be a fully trained AI platform that supports businesses to enter awards using AI in a very responsible way that's not going to preclude you with these funny ChatGPT types. So just remember that you're training it. When you put anything in it, you're training it for the next person who also puts something in it, asking it for an EVAS entry. So be very wary of that. That is my tip for you. Okay, what to win? So looking at the Enterprise Vision Awards, there's so many brilliant categories, and there's a real range, and I'd say a real range for different sizes of business as well as different types of industries as well. So you might already look at this and think, oh, I recognize myself, you know, I'm in the creative industry, that's a perfect one for me. But there might be other categories where actually you're in the creative industry but you've had an outstanding achievement, so you might want to enter that one as well. So you can enter more than one category. I don't know if Coral or Lizzie, if you want to say anything on the categories.
Yeah, I think put yourself in for more than one to edge your bets, because we are always so oversubscribed. So it does help to put yourself forward for a few. Check them though, check the criteria, make sure they are relevant for you. If you're going to go on into young entrepreneur, you need to make sure the cut-off date for the age, that type of stuff. So yeah, make sure they are relevant, and don't think that you won't get through. You just never know, because we don't know who's going to get through to each category. Just one thing though, if when it comes to the shortlist process, if we feel that somebody is going to be able to compete better in another category, because we can see who else has put themselves in there, and after reading your application, we feel actually this category, you've got a stronger chance, we will move those that we feel will have a better chance of standing a chance of winning in that category. So that does happen as well.
Brilliant, thank you. And then there's other parts to the process as well. So make sure you've looked at the whole process so you don't get a surprise later. Coral and Lizzie are very good at putting out all the dates so that you can plan into your diary what you need to already. So the entries close, we've got loads of time, midnight, Tuesday, the 5th of May. Don't make them stay up till midnight for it though. You've got lots of time. Finalists will be announced at the 29th of May. So you'll get those results and you could already start shouting about that on social media, which is super exciting. And then there'll be an interview. Okay. I did some of them last year and it was really lovely to meet the participants and the entrants and learn more about them. And that's where you really get to engage with the judges and tell your story more. And then there's more judging, so later on, so I won't go through all the dates, but make sure you've got a note of these, okay, so that you've got the Friday the 2nd of October in your diary, because it's going to be a good old shindig at the Winter Gardens, which is beautiful, I can tell you, if you've never been there before. So yeah, make sure you've got all of that down. Oh, I won't skip on to that yet. So that kind of brings me to the end of the specifically helping you on the awards entry side of things. I'll answer your questions in a moment, okay, when we get to the end, so don't worry, feel free to add more if you'd like to. Coral and Lizzie did ask me to bring something into this webinar about the UK honours process, partly because last year when I was at the event, I was like, wow, there's definitely women in here who should have an MBA, 100%. Now we have a lot of experience with this nomination process, so I wanted to just bring it to the fore so that you're aware of it. You might know of somebody that this is relevant for. So I'm just going to run you through that. If you want to talk further about it, we can always do that later. But just so that you've got a bit of an idea how it works. If you do know somebody, typically, just to give you a bit of an overview of how honours works, there's around 2,000 honours given out every single year to individuals. You'll see in the press, recognisable celebrities. That is a real fraction of the awards that are given. That's not the majority. 80% of people get MBEs and they're members of the community. So, but it's just the press pick up on all the celebrities because they're exciting, aren't they? So don't let that put you off, or if someone you know. So around 2,000 a year. It's about 1,200 at New Year and about 1,200 in June. Anybody can nominate anybody. So your husband could nominate you, you can nominate your mum. You do not have to have an award or anything like that to nominate anyone. Don't believe anything that you read. You don't need to be a lord, nothing like that. It's a very open public process that's free, that you can go and do for yourself online, but you can't nominate yourself. You can be nominated by someone else, but you can't nominate yourself. So yeah, on the Gov website, there's a free nomination form. You do have to be supported. That nomination has to be supported by people who can testify to what that person's done in their life. Okay, so the honours are only given on the merit of the nominee, but people need to back that up with letters who can testify to that. The nomination should be made while the person's still active in their role, so before they retire. Sometimes people wait until someone's retired and then they go, oh, we're going to nominate them now. But you actually still need to show that you're in active service. And the official spiel is that it takes 12 to 18 months, but in reality, it takes more like 2 to 3 years, I'd say, for an honour to come through. So if you know someone who's set up a charity or had a real influence on their industry or made a real difference to society or their community in some way, and you know they're going to exit in a few years or retire in a few years, then get them nominated now. Because the great thing is you can update that nomination later. It sits there for ages, but you can send another letter in a year and say, oh, they're doing this now as well, add it to the nomination. So I just wanted to bring that into your realm of knowledge, so that you've got an awareness of it. There might be people in your community that you think are relevant for that, and you can go and explore more of them online. I like to just Google who's got what, MBE for services to what, because you would not believe the range of things people get the honours for services to. Basically, if you can think of it, someone's probably got an honour for it at some point. But about 10% of honours every year go to business people. So because entrepreneurship and innovation is one of their key criteria. So, it could just be for services to a specific industry as well. It doesn't have to be a charity or community thing. So I hope that's interesting and that's helped in that way if you know anyone there as well. So your free entry checklist, you can scan this with your phone, or I'll just drop the link into the chat as well if you want to get it. That'll help you when you're writing your entry, okay, to have a bit of a checklist of what you should include.
Great stuff. Thanks, Donna.
And yeah, if you want any support or any help, then you can book a call in with one of my team, Brooke, and she will have a chat with you. And you can follow us on all these platforms. I'm best on LinkedIn, really. Brilliant. I hope that's helped. I'm very happy to answer questions. Come off.
Thanks, Donna. We did have a question there I was just going to answer, but Kirsty James popped in. Yes, Kirsty, if you get through to more than one category, you have an interview for each category, because the panels are different. So the judging panels are different per category and the questions differ as well. So they are relevant for the categories you get into. I'm just double checking. Any more questions for Donna before we move on, ladies?
There was a question. There was a couple of questions. If I could just,
I think, did you address them all? Has anybody not had a question answered? No.
I think somebody was asking about the length of time they need to include, and I've sort of semi-answered it, but I think it's relevant to how long. If you're just a new business, then just look at the last 3 years. Even if that's only like 1 year, just like that. But if it's a longer, basically, if you've got successes and achievements, add them in.
Yes, so some awards are really specific about the dates of which you have to talk about your achievements in. So they will say, in fact, Nicola, I think yours are, aren't they? A particular, there'll be a very specific year. But some awards like the EVAS will allow you to talk about your story from further back. So just look at the criteria in the actual write-up about the category. If it's like Lizzie said, it's like the last 3 years. So, you know, but if you've been going for 25 years, we don't need all your details from the last 25 years, but you might want to tell us why you set it up and, you know, what you're there to solve and where your growth has gone over the last few years.
Okay. Right, so thank you, Donna. I'm going to add a little bit more detail about the actual application process now. I've got about 15 minutes, so I'm going to speed talk, and Lizzie is going to keep an eye on the questions, and she's going to type away the answers there in the chat for me. Thank you, Lizzie. So let's look at turning your story into a standout EVAS entry. So your application starts with your story. So you need to be putting that into your application online. So the EVAS celebrates women who are building businesses and driving change. Every size, sector and stage belongs. We don't just recognise massive companies. We recognise solo entrepreneurs, smaller businesses. It's all, everybody's included in the EVAS. It always has been a very inclusive environment. And your journey matters. We want to hear what took you there. So the judges look for clear, easy to follow story. So try not to waffle. Evidence of impact and progress. So how have you helped? How have you impacted people? Leadership and decision making, purpose and direction, all with an authentic voice. So set yourself up to succeed. As Donna said, draft your answers. So don't submit your first written part. We recommend that you draft your answers in a Word or notes first in your computer before you put it into the application form. So just in case you have any accidents, you've still got hard copy in your computer. The form does not autosave. So that's why we recommend you do it, so you've got copies in both. There's nothing worse than putting lots of time into something, closing it down, and you've lost it. Now, there are character counts, and they include spaces and punctuation. So if you put a comma or a space, you've got to count it as a character. Save and keep your draft link safe so that you can go back to it. Every word you have counts, ladies. So say less, but say it clearly. Facts over fluff. You'll have plenty of time if you get through to the finals to talk directly to the judging panel and add more to it then. Show progress and not perfection. I gave up on perfection a long time ago, ladies. It does not exist. Your journey so far. So be clear, not clever. Avoid jargon and acronyms. Remember, not everybody may understand what they mean. Focus on your outcomes and not waffle, and say what actually changed. Your direction and your intention. Where are you going? What are you looking to do? So clear and realistic next steps. Goals, not dreams. How your role or impact will grow. I had a conversation last year after the awards. A lady submitted her, it's a lady I've known for a very long time. She contacted me, absolutely gutted she did not get through to the finals. And she said, what did I do wrong? And as soon as I asked her to look at the first question on the application and read what she put, she realised, she went straight away, why have I not read that properly? So it asks you specifically what your goals are and evidence and revenues and stuff. And all she put was, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, but not how she was going to make those steps. So do take time to read that question and read it again and see if your answers have actually addressed the question. Owning your leadership, your personal and professional journey, your achievements you should be proud of, challenges you've navigated. Tell us, about all those hard times and how you have managed to succeed over those adversities and why your voice matters. Why should you be recognised? And ladies, do put yourselves forward on that part. There are so many ladies shy away from putting themselves forward, and you should be recognised and be proud. Details matter, so choose the relevant categories. Interviews and the ceremony are essential. communication matters throughout. So I'm going to show you the process now. So this is the process of the awards. First stage is your entry. When the people enter, we will put through the nominations. We'll announce people have been nominated for the awards. Those go out on social media. When people are chosen as finalists, we do a full list of finalists on the website. And we will put finalist graphics out to all of you, so you can use them as part of your social media, put them on your signatures, you're a 2026 finalist, etc., on your emails. It's really good way for you to say that you're a finalist of the awards. And we will do a press release announcing all finalists. So just to be clear on this, Lizzie does all the press release. She sends them out to the areas saying who has achieved finalist status in those areas. She will send to all the local press. We can't control the press. Some press are really good and we'll put them in, but if a big news story comes out, we might get shelved. But every single finalist has a press release that is submitted to local press. So again, if you want it in your local press, don't tell us your head office that's maybe somewhere else down in Kent, where really you want it going out in Cardiff. Put that on your application as well, so we know where your local press is. Second stage is for the interviews. As a finalist, if you then take part in the interview section and you go forward for your interview, then you will be featured as on the website on the category list for your category as a finalist for that category. We will continue to promote on ongoing social media included, and also individual finalist posts will go out, and you'll also be part of the voting process. After the interview, if you then go through for the ceremony, you will then receive all the following as part of that process. So you will be included in the online and the printed programme. You will be on the screen presentation at the ceremony itself. You'll have a stage announcement by our MC, the official photographs, winner certificate and trophy. Here's one we prepared earlier. And your winner's press release, your official winner's photography. We also do a video for you, a video interview, and you get a winner's graphic pack, printed icon souvenir, and a group photo, winner's social media, winner's website inclusion, that will stay on our website, and also an invite to the Celebration of Excellence party, which is where all of our winners, judges and sponsors come together. So we put a lot out there to make sure you have every opportunity for your business to be promoted online, through our community, and obviously in person as well. Okay, so your business description is the first part, and you have 250 characters, including spaces and punctuation, so approximately 50 words. This is sent with the press releases, and it also appears on the website, on our social media, and also in the program. So you need to make it short and snappy, so that people understand what you do, and what are the benefits, and who are your customers. So be careful to make sure that is concise, because that's what people will read about you when they see it on their social media and in the program, etc. Write in the third person. So quite often we'll see people with this that will start writing, I do blah, blah, and then they go, she does, and they start mixing the two. So make sure you are talking about yourself in the third person when you do this part. We've got a couple of examples here for you as well, where you can see this is Jane Knight, who's talking about her business in the third person and specifically what it does. And it's nice and concise so people understand. And Lizzie can answer any questions you may have on that as well. Second section of the application is how your business started. So you have 1,000 characters, again, remember, including spaces and punctuation. It's approximately about 150 to 200 words. Share your inspiration. What was your why? How did you get into this? Why? What was your driver? Quite often that can be an emotional driver. Nikki spoke before about how she obviously has started something on the back of the loss of her husband, and so therefore it's quite an emotional driver. We want to hear about those stories. Tell us about your turnover, your growth, and the impact. If you're an employee, How did you enter this industry? What drove you to work in the industry that you are in? Future plans is the next part of the application process. Again, you have 1,000 characters in this. And again, the similar amount of words, 150 to 200 words. So with this, it's about the future. We want to know what your vision is, but clear goals. You know, we don't want you putting, if you like us, for a membership organization, we don't want to say, oh, I want to have 10,000 members. Right. How are you going to get there? You know, how can you evidence the steps that you will take to get you to that goal? So how do you plan to make it happen? Real steps, not a wish list. And what do you need to help you to do that? Your resources. Maybe you need to put some training. Maybe you need to employ somebody, you know, but put that clearly there. Then the about me, 1,000 characters again. Tell us about your experience, your skills, what drives you, and what do others say about you? Why should you win? Everybody struggles with this one, ladies. I'm going to be honest. You really need to put yourself forward here. Don't shy away from answering this question. What are your key achievements? So what have you done that's of note that you want to put down there? What challenges have you overcome? And what impact are you making? So be clear. Please put your effort into this one. So many people start this going, I don't really know why, and maybe I shouldn't. And I find it difficult to answer this question. Turn that around, be confident, fill this in with confidence, and tell us exactly why you should win. Don't miss out. You can use links to external pages. You can't add PDFs or files, but you need to add your website and your social media accounts. Every single entry, we do due diligence, and we will check every single website and every single social media platform. You must put those on there, ladies. Send out press release. We will send a press release, but you may have other people you're connected with, local magazines, etc. Send them out. Make the most of this opportunity to get some publicity. And obviously, we also give you advice on that as well. Lizzie's always there to help. Photographs. Lizzie chose these amazing pictures of me, ladies. As you can imagine, I was proper chuffed when she put these on here. So the first one of me swimming, not good luck. Second one, I'm having a cocktail on a social Friday night, not a good look. The third one, that's what we want, the professional headshot. This photo is going to be printed in the magazine and also in the online one, and it will go out with any press releases. They don't want to see a picture of me going swimming or having a cocktail on a Friday night. It doesn't look professional. It's not what I want my connections on LinkedIn, for instance, to see either. So do make sure you put a colour professional shot in, headshot. We don't want lots of people, your family, you know, your socials, nothing like that, ladies. So social media, we have put a QR code here to make it easier for you. But are you following us on social media? Some of the biggest comments we get about engaging with the EVAS, what you have to remember, 15 years in, we have a very large community. So engaging with us will help you on your social media. So many people say they've gained new followers and connected with lots of new people through our social media platforms. So do get engaged. Connect with sponsors, previous winners, fellow nominees. There's nothing better than lifting another woman up in this competition. So be that woman that gets through and congratulates everybody else as well. And don't forget, we have the EVAS hashtag. This is an example of all of the marketing assets you will receive as well as part of the process. So you can use those on your social. Okay, few things. So we have lots going on in the EVAS. Being established as long as we have quite a large connections in our community. So a couple of things that you may want to get involved in. We're having an information event in Cardiff in Wales, and our guest speaker is Lucy Cohen, who won the Scale Up Award with us last year. Lucy has a company called Mazuma. She's a massive tech company, and it is on Tuesday the 24th of February. Free for you to attend in the morning if you just want to come and hear from Lucy and also the Mellow Patch Girls, who are previous winners. Amazing business story they have about how they launched on TikTok. And in just less than 3 years, multi-million turning over business that's now in Superdrug and exporting abroad as well with their products. You can spend the day with us, join us for lunch, and also hear from a panel, and we're charging only £40 for the full day and for lunch. We also have an information event online on Wednesday, the 18th of March. Again, if you can't get there in person, you're more than welcome to join us online. And then our big event that we have coming up with Theo Paphitis as our keynote speaker at the House of Lords, where we'll be having an afternoon tea for just 120 guests. And that's Thursday, the 21st of May, a great opportunity to come along. We also will be hearing from Harriet Hastings from Biscuiteers, who was a finalist in the Businesswoman of the Year Awards with us last year, and a panel discussion. It's always good when you go to these places because you meet other people, you have those conversations, and that's where real business is done. We are running a wait list for the House of Lords, so do get yourself on there. And then International Women's Day is coming up, and we are having a full day and evening event. Some ladies are coming to both, some will choose day or night, depending on the time they have. And it's at the Lakeside Hotel and Spa in Cumbria on the beautiful banks of Lake Windermere by Newby Bridge. We are welcoming two amazing powerhouses to this event. In the day, we have Gillian Ashcroft, who has such a phenomenal story. She has her fingers in so many pies. She's a serial entrepreneur and a great character. And then in the evening, we have Nadine Morabi, who is probably the hottest fashion designer going at this moment in time, and her clothing are being worn by celebrities to royalty to Donald Trump's daughters. So if you like your fashion, and again, Nadine has an amazing story, having been previous GB hockey player and from Cheshire. So yeah, amazing story. So do join us for those events, and all the information is there on the QR code. We have a podcast. It is on Spotify. We have a QR code there if you'd like to follow us. I get the absolute pleasure of being able to interview some amazing women who give us some of the insights into their business, the challenges, and no fluff. So that is our Trailblazers Uncut. And the EVAS is not just about one night. We offer a free mentoring program, so you can join that to have the pleasure of being mentored by some amazing women through our community, or to give back and to become a mentee. So again, if you're interested in that, you can find information on our website. And we have the She Chain is being launched very shortly. So if you are interested in finding out about the She Chain and how it will lift each other up and help each other to gain more business, then please just get yourself on the wait list. And as soon as it's announced, you'll be in the know. And finally, finishing off here with our social media information and the website. So do please join in the conversation about the EVAS 2026. I know I'm a couple of minutes over there, so I hope I haven't kept you all too much over. Ladies, I appreciate some of you may need to dash, but if anybody on here has got some questions, really happy to answer those for you now.